Your life as every rank in Cartel. Level 1. The Recruit. It starts with a car door slamming shut behind you. The sound is louder than it should be. Final. You sit in the back seat, hands on your knees, trying not to move too much. The leather is cracked. The air smells like cigarettes and something metallic. Blood, maybe. Or maybe your mind is already filling in details that haven't happened yet. The man in the passenger seat doesn't turn around. Phone, he says. You hesitate for half a second. That's too long. The driver glances at you through the mirror. You feel it like pressure on your throat. You hand over your phone. It disappears into the glove compartment. No calls unless we say. No names unless we say. You see something, you forget it. You nod, another mistake. Say it, the man repeats. I understand. You don't. Not yet. The car moves. You don't know where you're going, only that turning back isn't an option anymore. The debt that brought you here, $4,200, borrowed and doubled through interest you never understood, doesn't exist outside this system. It lives here now, and so do you. Your first job is simple. Stand outside a warehouse for 6 hours. Don't move. Don't talk. If anyone asks questions, you call a number written on a torn piece of cardboard in your pocket. No one tells you what's inside. You don't ask. That's the first rule you learn. Curiosity isn't intelligence here. It's liability. At 3:17 a.m., a truck arrives. No logos, no plates. 3 men unload black duffel bags. Each one looks heavier than it should be. One of them looks at you. You hold his gaze for exactly 1 second, then look away. Good, you're learning. By sunrise, your legs are shaking, not from fear anymore, from stillness. When they finally let you leave, the man from the car hands you an envelope. Inside, $300 in cash. No explanation, no thanks. You realize something as you walk home. This is more money than you've made in a week before. And all you had to do was stand still. That's how it begins, not with violence, with silence. Level 2, the Runner. The calls start coming at random times. No patterns, no warnings. Be at 5th and Navarro in 20 minutes. Click. You learn not to ask questions because there's no one to answer them. Now you move. Envelopes, backpacks, small boxes sealed with duct tape. You never open them. You never check. That's the second rule. What you don't know can't be used against you. Your world shrinks into routes and timings. You memorize alleyways, side streets, shortcuts through parking structures. You learn which traffic lights last longer at night, which gas stations have cameras, which ones don't. At first, your hands shake every time you pass a police car. By the 3rd week, you barely notice them. You deliver $12,000 in cash to a man in a barber shop who doesn't cut hair. You pick up 2 kilos of something wrapped in plastic from a motel room that smells like bleach. You drop off a backpack in a park and walk away without looking back. You start to feel useful. That's dangerous, because usefulness comes with visibility, and visibility comes with expectations. One night, you're late. 5 minutes, traffic. You think it's a reasonable excuse. It isn't. The man you deliver to doesn't say anything. He takes the bag, counts the contents, then looks at you. You were late. It won't happen again. He nods, then punches you in the stomach, hard. You drop to your knees, gasping for air that doesn't come. No delays, he says calmly. Time is money. Money is trust. You nod again, but this time it's not a mistake. You understand now. Mistakes cost, not your job, your body, your safety, your place. And you start to notice something else. The money is increasing. $300 becomes $600, then $1,000 for a single night. You're making more than you ever have, but you're never relaxed, never off. Even when you sleep, your phone is next to your face, volume on max. Because missing a call isn't just missing work, it's disrespect. and disrespect is remembered. Level 3, the trusted hand. They stop checking your work. That's when you know you've crossed a line. You're no longer just a runner, you're trusted. It doesn't feel like relief, it feels like pressure. Now you don't just deliver, you manage small operations. 3 new recruits report to you. You teach them the same rules you learned, but you don't explain why. You don't need to. They'll find out. You assign routes, set times, handle cash. On a good week, you're moving close to $80,000 through different hands. You never hold it all at once. That would be stupid. That would be traceable. Instead, it flows through you like water. You guide it. You don't own it. Ownership is dangerous. Responsibility is worse. One of your recruits, young, nervous, asks too many questions. What's in the packages? You look at him. You don't want to know. He laughs nervously. You ever think about leaving? You don't answer. Because the truth is you have, but you also know something he doesn't. There's no exit, not clean, not quiet. You're in, and being in means you're watched. Protected maybe, but also monitored. Every move, every call, every hesitation. The system rewards loyalty, but it never forgets doubt. One night, the same recruit doesn't show up. No call, no message. You're told to handle it. You find him at his apartment. Door unlocked, lights on. He's sitting on the floor, hands shaking. I'm out, he says. I'm done. You already know what happens next. There's no script, no instructions, just expectation. You close the door behind you. The room feels smaller, quieter. He keeps talking. You stop listening, because this is the moment, the one where you either stay who you were or become who they need you to be. You make a decision, and after that, things get easier, not better, just easier. Level 4, the operator. You don't carry packages anymore. You carry authority. People move when you say move. They stop when you say stop. You oversee distribution zones now. 2 neighborhoods, then 3. Each one generates roughly $40,000 a week. You track it mentally. You don't write anything down. Paper is evidence. Memory is safer. You have a driver now, a black SUV with tinted windows. You sit in the back, just like the man from your first night. You notice that. You don't like what it means. Violence is no longer accidental. It's strategic. A dealer skims $2,000. You don't argue. You make an example, not because you want to, because you have to. Reputation is currency. Fear is insurance. If one person gets away with it, 10 more will try. So you don't give them that chance. You start to understand the real structure. Money flows upward. Risk flows downward. You're in the middle now. You absorb both. The nights get longer. The calls more frequent. You sleep less, think less, feel less. There's a moment driving through the city at 2 a.m. where you catch your reflection in the window. You don't recognize yourself immediately. That bothers you. Then it doesn't, because identity isn't useful here. Function is, and you function perfectly. Level 5, the insider. You're invited to meetings now, real ones. Closed doors, no phones, no outsiders, just men who don't raise their voices, because they don't need to. You sit at the table, not at the head, but close enough. You listen more than you speak. That's how you learn. Territory expansions, supply chain disruptions, law enforcement pressure in certain districts. You hear numbers that don't feel real. $2.3 million moved in a month, $600,000 lost in a raid. You realize something. This isn't chaos. It's a system, structured, calculated, efficient. You're part of it now, fully. Your income is steady, $15,000 a week, sometimes more. You have an apartment you don't remember choosing, a watch you don't remember buying. Everything feels temporary, replaceable, even you, especially you. Loyalty becomes complicated. You're loyal to the system, not the people, because people disappear, get arrested, get killed, get replaced. But the system stays. It always stays. You stop forming attachments. Friends become contacts. Conversations become transactions. Even your thoughts feel monitored, filtered. You don't think about leaving anymore. Not because you can't, because it doesn't make sense. Where would you go? Who would you be? You've been reshaped, and there's no blueprint to go back. Level 6, the authority. Now they answer to you. Entire operations, dozens of people. Routes, shipments, enforcement, all under your control. You don't just react. You decide. You approve movements worth hundreds of thousands with a nod. You authorize actions that ripple through entire neighborhoods. You feel the weight of it, but you carry it well, because you've been trained to. Gradually, piece by piece, you enforce rules you didn't create. That's the paradox. Power without ownership. Control without freedom. You're respected now, feared even, but you're also watched more closely than ever, because at this level, betrayal is expensive, and expensive things are protected or eliminated. You start to notice patterns. Who talks too much? Who hesitates? Who avoids eye contact? You read people like files, and sometimes you close those files permanently, not out of anger, out of necessity. You tell yourself that. It helps. A little. Level 7, the broker. You don't deal in product anymore. You deal in decisions, territories, alliances, conflicts. You sit in rooms with people who control entire regions. You negotiate, not with threats, with leverage. Information becomes your primary weapon. Who owes who? Who's under investigation? Who's vulnerable? You know everything, or close enough. You move millions without touching a single dollar. You shift power with conversations. A word here, a silence there. You feel untouchable, but also exposed. Because at this level, everyone is dangerous. Not just below you, beside you, above you. Trust becomes theoretical. You rely on patterns, history, mutual benefit, but never belief. Belief gets you killed. You sleep in different places, change routines, rotate drivers. You're not paranoid, you're prepared. There's a difference. And it's the only thing keeping you alive. Level 8, the architect. You don't get calls anymore. You make them, or you don't. Silence becomes your default. You exist above the system, but never outside it. Everything flows through structures you helped shape, routes you designed, people you placed. You don't see the street level anymore, but you feel it in numbers, in reports, in shifts of behavior. You know when something is wrong before anyone says it. That's power, but it's also isolation. There's no one above you to trust, no one beside you to rely on. Everyone below you is a variable, a risk, an asset, never equal. You have everything, money, control, influence, but nothing feels owned, not really, because at this level, loss is always one decision away, one mistake, one betrayal, one miscalculation. You think about the beginning sometimes, not often, just flashes, a car door, an envelope, $300. You almost laugh, almost, then you stop. Because you hear something, a report, a new recruit, young, nervous, standing outside a warehouse for the first time. You know exactly how he feels, what he's thinking, what he doesn't understand yet. You don't need to meet him. You already know his path, because you walked it, and the system hasn't changed. It never does. Somewhere across the city, he's holding an envelope, thinking it's just money. He thinks he understands the rules. He doesn't, but he will.